All right, y'all. So last night I decided to catch up on Divorce Sisters. Okay. And I just want to know how many of y'all have watched it. So far. I caught up on all the episodes and I just want to know, have y'all reviewed it? Okay. We're going to start with the characters. So let's just talk about the characters. Let's identify them, okay? All right. All right, I'm still trying to get familiar with names. So let's talk about them. First, we're going to talk about Rashida. Rashida would be the pastor's wife. Pretty much the counselor, who's basically having trouble with her own marriage. So there's that, okay? Everybody confide into the first lady, okay? All right, yeah. Then we're going to talk about Naomi. Naomi is a hothead, wild card, divorcee husband, a bit bitter, ex-husband left her for a white girl. Okay, yeah. Then we're going to talk about Pastor Jeff, which is married to Rashida, okay? Which we kind of feel like he got some things going on. We ain't quite figured out what they are yet. But yeah. And then there's Bridget. Bridget is the assistant to the pastor's wife. Okay? And she's like with a young man who's not doing, he ain't really that young. Hell, he almost 30. And he ain't did nothing with himself. Just sitting at home playing games. Instead, he a content creator. Okay, yeah. Him. Okay, we're going to get into it. We're going to continue to get into it. Okay, so now we have Geneva. Geneva's an attorney who is married to William. Okay, William is her husband. And she also, William has a friend named Javon. Okay. Also, it's a couple other characters like Hakeem, which was missing with Hakeem is like a male escort. He misses with Naomi or whatever the case may be. And then Franklin was married to Naomi. That's the rich guy who left her for a white girl. Yeah, all of that. Okay, we're going to get into the whole scenario, okay? And not only that, Geneva and William have a daughter named Onika. Okay, we're going to talk about Tyler and these names too. All right. Okay, and last we have Tiffany. Tiffany is the divorced friend that was married, and she actually paying alimony. And yeah, she's the last friend. Dark sister, real pretty, natural hair. I love her. I'm just saying, I love her. Her, I guess her style. I'm gonna say that. But we're gonna get into this, okay? I think I'm gonna make this a couple of parts because I had to watch all the episodes. So I'm just gonna make the next video on all what I've caught up. Okay? All right. Good day. So being that I'm catching up, we just gonna talk about everything. All the episodes that I already played, we're gonna talk about where we are today. Okay. So let's just start with Naomi. Okay, Naomi and Franklin's relationship and how, Naomi is this rich wife that was left by her husband, and she is just wilding, baby. She wilding. She getting a divorce. She want to sue for everything. She got a huge amount of money in a divorce settlement. She got to turn over stuff that she don't want to turn over, and she just wilding, okay? She messing with an escort named Hakeem, and she's still trying to do just dirt. Personally, I don't like this character because I feel like it's always got to be a bitter character, and I don't like when Tyler do that. It's like, bro, when stuff like that happen, I would like to see somebody who escaped that type of situation, and it becomes a little more positive, but nevertheless, they always got to have a wild head, a hot head, or whatever the case may be. And that's exactly what she is, okay? Not saying that he's any better, okay? Not saying that he's any better, but nevertheless, Franklin and Naomi, yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot in a white girl. At the end of the day, right where we are today, she threw hot coffee on the white girl, and the white girl is, yeah, we can pretty much be for sure that there's gonna be more to come behind that. Okay? Yeah. All right. So before we get into, Pastor and First Lady's relationship, we're gonna talk about Bridget. Bridget to me is going through a crisis. She want to be with somebody, cause she was somebody. First of all, remember Bridget is they friend, but she's the assistant to the pastor's wife. They to me don't treat her like a friend because they talk about her behind her. I mean, they talk about her. I don't like how they talk about her, but in her face it's like encouraging. Yeah, dude. Anyway, Bridget is going through something because Bridget is with somebody who she taking care of. He ain't doing nothing. He talking about he a content creator. Anyway, at the end, he gone. Baby, he didn't poo-poo himself. Because she put him out or whatever the case may be. But Bridget, I haven't quite figured out what relationship Bridget has with them because they don't treat Bridget like no friend. They treat Bridget like an extra. Y'all tell me, okay? All right. All right, so let's keep it going. So now we're gonna get into Geneva and William, okay? And we're gonna go ahead and pull Javon and Tiffany up in there, okay? All right. So William and Geneva are married. And William and Geneva are married, and they also have a daughter named Monica, okay? But Geneva thinks that William is cheating on her. Me personally, I don't think he is, but we gonna see. But Geneva had an affair with Javon, which is William's friend, okay? Stay with me, okay? She's an attorney, and she likes to do a whole lot of research, so she is assuming because her daughter said a couple of things, but for a fact, Geneva had a relationship. Not just an affair, a whole relationship. They were talking about leaving their spouses and everything with Javon, which came back to town to move back to town, okay? She had a whole relationship talking about doing all of this with Javon, okay? And Javon could possibly be Onika, which is her daughter. That could be her daddy. Do you hear me? Okay? All right. Stay with me. All right, like I said, Geneva thinks William is cheating. Now, William is Javon's friend. So, with William being Javon's friend, he's trying to fix Javon up with Tiffany. Okay? With Tiffany. They go to this fundraiser for the church. Because remember the church, Rashida Church. Okay? Their friend Rashida. They going to Rashida and Pastor Jeff's church fundraiser. And he's trying his best, William, to fix Javon up with Tiffany. And Tiffany falling for it. They all clingy. And Geneva ain't feeling it at all. And she's showing it. Okay? All through this. But realize that she's really trying to make an excuse, in my opinion, to why she don't want to be William. She claimed to be so bored of William. She's trying to, identify something he doing wrong. And I kind of feel bad for him because it's like he's just really going out his way to put Javon and Tiffany together. Okay? But we're going to get into Javon too because he giving me creepy vibes as well. Yeah, I had to make another video about this whole situation going on with Geneva, Javon, William, Tiffany. Okay, now keep in mind, Tiffany and Geneva are friends, okay? But Geneva, the only person that knows about Geneva's relationship with Javon is Rashida, which is the pastor's wife. That's the only one out of their whole group, okay? But Geneva got introduced with Javon by William at this event, and they've been kind of like, you know, but you know, Geneva ain't, she has side eye and all this, okay? But keep in mind, she ain't talked to her friend about none of this. So Tiffany has no clue, but she's starting to realize that she keeping something from her. So she keep asking her about it, but she ain't saying that. You're gonna have to ask him. You're gonna have to. So stay with me with this because I'm not feeling Geneva's character either. Okay, because at the end of the day, you had an affair. You said it was over. You said you ain't doing nothing. And if it happened, why haven't you sit your friend down, bro? You haven't sit your friend down. You know your husband don't know, but your friend don't know either. So she going along. She divorced. She playing along with me, this guy, whatever the case may be. Okay? So, yeah. I'm not feeling Geneva at all. Okay? At all. My favorite character so far is Tiffany. Okay? Stay with me because we're going to get into the last two characters. Okay? The last two characters. We're going to talk about them. All right, let's get into the head relationship, which is Rashida and Pastor Jeff. And that relationship is something else, okay? Pastor Jeff, in my opinion, is jealous of Rashida. Rashida is the one that keeps the church going. She keep things in line. You got women that's trying to set up the Pastor Jeff, and he don't even know it. He think he way up her, which he really under her. Really, yeah. Whatever the case may be. And Rashida's the one that's trying to, open up, and everybody's coming to her and, talking to her about their issues. And baby, she got them all on her own. Okay? Pastor Jeff and Rashida are not getting along. Pastor Jeff got something going on with something. He has an assistant that acts really strange, okay? This assistant that he has he married, but it's just their relationship is weird. A lot of people think it's some DL going on. I can't say. I don't know. We can't say yet. We don't know. We don't have it. We don't have it down just yet. Okay? Hold on. Stay with me. Now, after all this that happened at the whole, fundraiser, and Naomi throwing coffee on the white girl, and all this happened, and they end up at the hospital because they have to keep an image for the church. Rashida and Pastor Jeff not getting along at all, okay? But they got into it with Franklin because Franklin tried to comfort Naomi. And Rashida ain't having that. You ain't finna comfort my girl in front of me, da-da-da. And Pastor Jeff sat up there and watched another man, Franklin, call his wife out her name. And he did, Nathaniel, do you hear me? Nothing. And she was not feeling it at all. And I wasn't either. Pastor Jeff, what is up with you? Is something up with him, okay? Yeah. So, all in all, okay, after this whole event happened, and they blew up at the hospital or whatever the case may be, and she kind of read him and told him, you let another man call me out my name and you did nothing. And they got into it. They have an image to keep. So when they're around the church, even their kids called it out. Because they got a son and a daughter. And they called them out and say, y'all act different when y'all get around the church members. Like y'all all happy, but y'all not. Okay. Rashida has this thing to where if you don't open the door for her, she, it's a trigger. Because she got something happen to her in college where something happened. We'll just leave it at that. Okay, go watch it. You'll see. But at the end of the day, they got home. He didn't open the door for her. She slept in the car, girl. She slept in the car, and they had a whole big thing come out. And he came out the next day. They got into it or whatever the case may be. And the phone rang, and it was his assistant. And he said, baby, you in the car? And he was like, what are you talking? He tried to play it off. But that's why people feel like it's something going on. I'm not going to confirm it until we know for sure, okay? I think it's something going on too, but we gonna see, cause she peeping it. She been peeping it for a minute, okay? But because the boy don't act like a sister, he act like a lover. But more to come. So boom, we gotta go back. We gotta go back because we gotta talk about Javon, okay? Javon is giving me creep vibes because why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? First of all, it seems to me that Giovanna and Javon, I said Giovanna, my bad. Geneva and Javon had this relationship where they had told each other they were gonna leave their spouses, they were gonna have a baby, which that's why he believed that that baby could be his because it was 5 years ago and the baby's 5. Okay. And William and Geneva was having complications on having baby. Okay. But nevertheless, Javon, you giving me creep vibes because why would you continue to pursue her friend? You know what I'm saying? Because you're doing it on purpose. But at the same time, Poe Tiffany over here, which is my favorite character so far. Okay, I'm going to say that. After all the episodes, Tiffany is my favorite character. Why would you do Tiffany like that? She don't deserve that, and I don't like that. And then you looking at a house that's right next door to Geneva and William. Why? What are you doing? You know? So Javon, I'm not feeling him either. Okay? But nevertheless, that's all, y'all. That's what I got so far. The only thing I say is on Onika Tyler, you named that baby Onika after Nicki Minaj. Okay, whatever. Y'all tell me what y'all think. All right, good day.